Hello, and thank you for joining us here on France 24. It's time for us to cast our collective eye on Africa. First up, the headlines. The treason trial of South Sudan's Vice President Riek Machar begins in Juba. He is accused of murder and crimes against humanity, as well as ordering an ethnic militia's attack on a military base in March. 490 people killed in the last 6 months due to gang violence in South Africa's Cape region. Those chilling numbers come from Acting Police Minister Firoz Kachalia's report detailing the escalating violence in the province. And we will stop in Nigeria, known worldwide for its Afrobeats, to meet the musicians who strive to promote and preserve traditional instruments and melodies for future generations. The trial of South Sudan's Vice President Riek Machar began in Juba on Monday under tight security. Among the charges against him, murder, treason, and crimes against humanity for his alleged involvement in raids by the Nuer-dominated White Army militia in the northeast earlier this year. Riek Machar was suspended earlier this month by decades-long rival and current president of the country, Salva Kiir, when the charges were first revealed. The country's first vice president has been detained under house arrest since March, sparking concerns of a possible return to a civil war. More details with our regional correspondent, Bastien Renouille.
Along with 7 co-defendants, Riek Machar was sitting in a birdcage in the courtroom this Monday. It was not allowed for the press to enter the courtroom, but the trial was broadcast live on national television. And this first session was short. It was quickly adjourned till Tuesday after Riek Machar's legal team raised 4 questions from the composition of the court to the immunity that he's supposed to enjoy as vice president. Indeed, he's supposed to be protected by law, but a few weeks ago, South Sudan President Salva Kiir decided to suspend him from this role in order for him to be judged. So the court will have to decide if this move was legal before proceeding with the case. But what is he accused of exactly? According to the South Sudanese government, Riek Machar is behind a rebel group, the White Army. It's a rebel group located in the north of South Sudan. And in March this year, it attacked a military base, killing more than 250 people, threatening to send back South Sudan into chaos. South Sudan's government says that it will provide evidences showing that Riek Machar was behind this attack. But there is one thing for sure, it will need to be a fair and transparent trial in order for any conviction to avoid plunging back South Sudan into chaos. Between 2013 and 2018, a civil war killed more than 400,000 people in South Sudan.
490 people have been killed in South Africa's Cape Town region in the last 6 months due to gang violence. Last week, Acting Police Minister Firoz Kachalia released a shocking report detailing the escalating violence in the province. According to the document, more than 2 people are killed every day in the Cape Flats, an underprivileged neighborhood in Cape Town created during the apartheid era, which struggles daily with gang and drug-related violence. Our Cape Town correspondent, Caroline Dumais, has more.
This is not new in Cape Town. Gang violence, mainly driven by drug trafficking, has plagued the Cape Flats for decades. But the latest figures are shocking. From April to September, 490 gang-related murders, of which 23 were children. So when the police minister presented his report to Parliament last week, he called for collective actions. He asked for a national strategic plan of action. He was outlining a wide range of measures from youth programs to tackling the flow of illegal weapons. Security experts also think that this violence is increasingly linked to international crime syndicates. Cape Town residents have cried out for months to stop the bloodshed. The Muslim Judicial Council held several meetings, and community members are asking not only to increase policing, but also for the army to be deployed in the Cape Flats.
Concerns grow in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo after the AFC M23 rebels announced the recruitment of over 7,000 new fighters. In a viral video, The Rwanda-backed group showcased the new recruits in a military parade in Goma. They claimed the men returned included surrendered Congolese soldiers as well as local militia members. However, human rights groups warned that many may have been coerced. The video comes as the Congolese army denounced repeated ceasefire violations. Emmett Livingston reports from Kinshasa.
These images have gone viral in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Last week, the M23 broadcast footage of what it said were over 7,400 Congolese soldiers who had chosen to join its ranks. It's not clear whether the fighters have been press-ganged into service. The M23 rebel group, which is backed by Rwanda, has been documented by UN experts and rights groups to use forced recruitment. Still, the images of thousands of new fighters is an ominous sign for peace in eastern Congo, where small clashes have continued despite a supposed ceasefire. On Sunday, the Congolese army denounced what it said were repeated attacks on its positions and those of pro-government militias. Both sides have accused each other of violating the ceasefire. Peace talks between the M23 and the Congolese government taking place in Doha are proceeding very slowly, and separate peace talks between Congo and Rwanda appear to be just as difficult. On Saturday this week, it will be 3 months since Congo and Rwanda signed a peace agreement. By that point, per the terms of the deal signed in Washington, Rwandan troops are meant to have withdrawn from Congo, and the FDLR militia is meant to have been dismantled. But on the ground, signs of progress are few and far between.
In other news from the DRC, Vital Kamerhe, president of the Congolese National Assembly, has resigned in anticipation of his dismissal. He and 4 other members of his office were subjects of a petition calling for their departure. They're accused of opaque management and obstructing parliamentary oversight. Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger have announced their departure from the International Criminal Court. The move comes after their justice ministers met last week to finalize the joint departure plans. The 3 countries seek to establish their own Sahelian criminal court. However, under ICC regulations, any member state's withdrawal becomes effective 1 year after the submission of the official written notice. Malawi's ruling party claims it has evidence of electoral fraud as early results of last week's general election indicate a major loss for them. President Lazarus Chakwera's running mate alleged some ballot boxes were stuffed, while 8 people were arrested, accused of trying to manipulate the result figures. The election authority has until Wednesday to issue the final outcome of the presidential vote. And this damning UN report accuses South Sudan's leaders of engaging in outright looting of the country's oil resources with large-scale embezzlement. The document reveals $25 billion worth of revenue between 2011 and 2024. The Oil for Roads program is said to have allowed more than $2 billion to be embezzled, leaving many promised infrastructure projects unfinished. In Guinea, counting is underway following a historic constitutional referendum. On Sunday, voters took to the polls to vote on a draft constitution which would allow the country's military leader, Mamadi Doumbouya, to run for office in the upcoming presidential election. Results are expected Tuesday, and while critics see the vote as a bid to cement military power, some on the streets view it as a step in the right direction. Our regional correspondent, Caitlin Kelly, has the details.
Votes are being counted in Guinea after a long-awaited referendum which could pave the way for the country's junta leader to run for president. General Mamadi Doumbouya, who seized power in a coup in 2021, had promised a return to civilian rule by the end of last year. On Sunday, some 6.7 million Ghanaians were eligible to vote either yes or no on a draft constitution, which could pave the way for elections, but has been deeply controversial. The text could see things like the presidential term be extended from 5 to 7 years. It could pave the way for military members like Doumbouya to run for office, and it also sees the creation of a Senate, which the president can appoint a third of members. Critics say this referendum is just a power grab. After 50 political parties were dissolved last year, and 3 of the main political parties were suspended just weeks before the referendum. For this reason, the past few weeks, the Yes campaign has dominated the streets of Conakry with Quran readings, rallies and concerts, with the No side being almost invisible, restricted to social media, with many critics living in exile and calling for a boycott of the referendum. Results are expected either late tonight or on Tuesday, and in theory, a presidential election is planned for December.
And we end our bulletin on a musical note in Nigeria, known worldwide for its Afro beats. But while modern music continues to take the world by storm, traditional African instruments still matter, and some artists are making sure their sounds are not lost. Olivia Bizo reports.
In the southern Nigerian state of Akwa Ibom, this wooden xylophone is making a comeback. And leading the revival is Infant Sunday, who trains children outside his home.
Like this environment that I am, I meet parents, I meet kids, so they love it. There's no how you hear the sound of the xylophone. Definitely, it's something that parents will love their kids to be part of. So they just love. They believe in me. They believe in the vision.
The group has built quite the reputation at weddings, birthdays, and community events.
I've been used to them. They're not a forehand. When you carry them for your event, they will deliver, sure.
Sunday also handcrafts every instrument, cutting, carving, and tuning until the pitch is perfect.
The Western instruments have taken over. So people don't really know something like this exists. I know some of the African countries, we have the marimba, we have the other embryophone, but this one is our culture, it's our stuff. So by the special grace of God, I think it should be everywhere because we can play this thing alongside with Western instruments.
Each set sells for about €250. But for Sunday, the real value lies in keeping this tradition alive and preserving it for future generations.
Well, that's all from us for the moment. Stay tuned to France 24. More news still to come.
The unit was doing a lot. So for them to leave, they will leave us in the sun.
Since the funding freeze, we are unable to go to the community to provide the service.
To make money or to have money, we have to work in agriculture because then we have sustainable options.
It's high time Africa started trading amongst ourselves. In that way, we will not be subjected to transactional presidents.
A new episode of Reporters. US aid cuts, Malawi in shock on France 24.